Got a drone here from a company I don't think I've ever worked for before. This is ICAT1 Pro, and it looks a pretty decent one. It's a brushless motor, and I'll show it to you in a second. Obviously, it's the S3 model. I'm just going to see how we're getting on with this. Comes in a really nice little carry case, like they all seem to be doing these days, which is good. I think it's a nice way of carrying it around. You've got the actual drone itself, small transmitter, and you can get it with 1, 2 or 3 battery options. I'll put links down in the description for you to have a look through. You get limited spares, and you don't really need anything with these, to be perfectly honest. You get a couple of spare props. You get a little Phillips screwdriver to actually change the props over should you so need to. But I'll show you in a second. They're pretty robust little props, so you should be good with them. You get a USB cable, which is USB to micro USB, and that's how we charge the actual batteries up. Now the batteries are 2-cell, and it's 3.8 volts, and it's actually 1200 milliamp hour. Like I say, I went for the one with 2. That's what they sent me anyway. And to charge it, was simply, you can use a power bank if you're out and about, which I use, or charge it up in the car. Any phone adapter into the mains, or your laptop or your computer or anything. So loads of options there. When we plug it in to charge it up, you get flashing LED. Blue one comes on, then it goes to solid blue, and when it's fully charged, the LEDs go off. So a nice little system there of charging up. The actual drone itself is folded up quite nicely, and though they don't recommend you do this, I'm going to show you anyway. The actual lens points all the way down, so we can just pull it down. You can hear the little motor running there inside. You might also notice that we've got another little camera here, and this is actually optical flow system, and it's also a GPS drone as well. So, and at the moment, I think they're about 80 quid on offer at Banggood at the moment, but I'll put a link down in the description, and any codes I can find I'll pop in there for you as well, obviously. I think this is the only drone I've ever reviewed that actually slots in like this into like a central sort of strap that holds the blades out the way, which I think is quite a nice little design. When you pull them out, they really do click into position, as you can hear there. That's definitely on. That's definitely not going anywhere either. It would take a hell of an impact to sort that out. Brushless motors should be nice and powerful, and we've got, the granddaughters call these floppy dog ears because they do sort of flop out the way. Caution, brushless motors as opposed to brushed motors. Brushless motors really don't stop. If they hit anything, they will just keep ripping into things. Brushed motors tend to, they sort of stop immediately. You don't tend to do any damage with them, or minimal damage. Brushless motors can be quite vicious, so you search around on YouTube if you want to see what people have taken fingers and done some nasty injuries to themselves. So always give them a little bit of respect. They are whizzing around at a fair old speed, don't forget. It's got a small transmitter here, quite a nice little, I quite like the design of it actually. It all fits in a very small case. These fold down, and then you can just pop your mobile phone in here. Take quite a big phone actually, almost to a small phablet, I would say, would go in there, no problem at all. One of my little bugbears is the actual buttons and the controls on the transmitter have nothing written on them, so you've got to get the instructions out to look them up. Yeah, not the end of the world if you only own one drone, but if you're new to flying, you might want to just have a quick look and check what's doing what. Or if you're like me and you've got loads of toys to play with, it is nice to have them all in one, you know, have it on here. It's so simple for a manufacturer to do, it really wouldn't hurt. So that's just one of my little bugbears. On to the actual instructions. I do like the way they've laid this out, so it's all Chinese at the beginning, and when you get to the middle it all goes to English, and it's pretty well written actually. Calls out everything in here, no problem at all, and runs through all your instructions, all your controls and everything. The battery took, I think they're about 2 hours each, and if you've got some other micro USB cables, which are quite standard these days, I tried it out on several of them and it was fine. But obviously it's your baby, you treat it with respect. If you only want to charge it with the one they've sent you, that's fine, but I have tried it with others and it was fine. And like I say, a couple of hours to charge up. I think that was about the longest it took. Okay, you may have noticed on the box it says 235 grams, so I'm just going to check that this is right. I've got the battery in, so it's fully loaded for what it is. Now, one thing I was going to say was there's a slot there for a micro SD card, and this sticker was over it to show, you know, to cover it up so it wasn't on show, and it won't take a micro SD card. There's no holder there for it at the moment, but I would imagine they've obviously put this in, that they're going to bring out a model that will have it in, I would hope. And there's another connection here which I would imagine is for firmware updates. So I'm just going to weigh this, pop it on there at 237 grams, so we're well below the 250, so we're good to go.
One of my favourite places for reviewing here. There is a little bit of breeze coming across the loch, as you can see. We've got ripples on the water there. It's not mirrored, which I'm quite pleased about, because we're at the beginning of August in the Highlands of Scotland. We are midge heaven at the moment for things, so I'm going to give this a good test here. Nice thing about the wind, comes across the loch there, comes up and over here, so it starts to get a bit of turbulence here, and when it comes down into the little glen behind me, it will swirl around quite a bit. So it's a good place to check out a GPS drone. I'll be doing tests as well with it off, so we can see how the optical flow works as well. So we're going to pop it down onto the case, which another good reason for having the case, I think, is that we've got somewhere flat that we can launch from, which is rather good, and we can calibrate everything on it as well. Now you might notice my rather stylish footwear here, Tigger RC Reviews welly boots. Now somebody bought these for me, said if I got back into reviewing they'd get something special for me, because I'm a special person, so they said. Now when they say special, they do tend to tilt their head on the side, so perhaps that tells you something about how special they think I am. I think I'm really brave wearing them, actually. I ought to start marketing these, didn't I? Tell who are the Tigger RC fans. Okay, back onto the review. So with this one, you can either turn the transmitter on first of all, or the drone. Doesn't make any difference at all. And if it won't bind the first time you get it, you can hold down this right hand button here on the left hand side, then turn the transmitter on, then turn the drone on, and that puts this ready for binding. It will bind to your drone. Once it's done that once, it shouldn't ever need to be done again, but just in case you need to bind it the first time, that's the way to do it. What I'm going to do is turn the transmitter on first of all, get a double beep off it. I'm going to then turn on the drone itself. You heard another beep come off the actual transmitter, so it's already bound up, ready to go. If I flip this over, we've got LEDs on the underneath, and we've got flashy blue ones at the front, flashy green ones at the back. If I put it onto optical flow system, they all go solid. The front ones are telling us that it's trying to pick up enough satellites for it to fly under GPS, and the back one tells us that it's when it's solid, it means that it's in optical flow position. So there we go. So you can see the difference there. So there's nothing wrong with the battery charge or anything like that when they're flashing like that. I'm going to calibrate the gyro on it first of all, so I'm going to try and get down really low so you get to see this. Both the sticks down and to the right, and you'll see the LEDs will start flashing like mad. That's it. They'll keep flashing until I let go of that, and that calibrates the gyro. Make sure it's on somewhere flat, and don't move it while you're doing it either. I'm going to calibrate the compass on it as well. Now, I don't think you need to do that every single flight, because once you've calibrated it, you should be fine, but it's up to you. And make sure you're in an open environment like I've got here. Don't do it in between buildings, or certainly don't try and calibrate a GPS system compass indoors. So down and left on this one, up and right on this one, and then we get a beep off the transmitter. That tells us we're ready to calibrate. As you can see, we've just got the LEDs at the front on now. I'm going to rotate it round. You can go right or left, doesn't make any difference, just keep it in a flat orientation. There we go, we got a beep off the transmitter there, don't know if you picked that up, and then we've got this, so we've got the green LEDs on now at the bottom. And just keep rotating it, usually 2 or 3 times does it. And like I say, now we've just about found enough signal, it seems to be holding there, and the back ones are still flashing away because we're in GPS mode. The drone would have set up a Wi-Fi hotspot, and what we're going to do is just log on to that. So you don't need data roaming on or anything. You're just literally going to log on to this. This won't use up any of your data either, so you can be in any environment and this will work, even indoors, picking up no signal from anything else. I'm going to use UAV Go 2, which is not the one they recommend, but the one they recommended didn't work, so I definitely find this one good. Go into the settings on your Wi-Fi settings on your phone, and we've got UAV Go. There's no other Wi-Fi around here, as you can see. Simply connect onto that. You might get a warning up that says there's no internet access, which is true. You won't get an internet access through it. And then you can go onto UAV Go 2. Now this, if you want to set up for using the maps and everything, not something that I use, you can initialize this, go onto your Wi-Fi, download a map and then go on from there, or you could download it before you come out as well. I'm actually going to skip that because it's not really something that we will be doing. There we go. And then you've got app instructions, very good on this. It explains it all the way through, but I'll try and cover as much as I can in the review as well. You've got your settings here as well for your setup and everything. But I'm just simply going to go into start. You get a load of warnings to where to be careful about flying. Compass calibration, we've already done that. And then we're into here. And there we go. We do have a zoom facility on it. It's just a digital zoom, so it's not an optical zoom, so the quality is not going to be great. I'm not sure the quality is going to be brilliant anyway, because it's only working on the Wi-Fi. There's no micro SD card on this. We could take still images with this one here, or we can start and stop the video here. We do have a stop button here, but that's to stop the motors, but you will get a warning up. Are you sure you want to stop them and then proceed with it or cancel it? So you shouldn't get those around the wrong way, and if you did by mistake, it wouldn't drop out of the sky. Let's start the video off, and then to prime the motors you go down and in, and we're ready to go. You can use auto takeoff, which is this one here, but I'm just going to lift it up, and you can see how much wind we've got because it's actually leaning at an angle. Now if you're brand new to flying, let me just show you quickly how we fly, or what we do for flying. That's actually holding position really nicely. You tell it's holding on GPS, if I give it a shove, it will try and come back to that position. There we go. Right, so if you want to ascend or go up, you simply use this one here. That gives it some lift, some throttle, and that takes the throttle off, so it'll descend. If you want it to rotate in its own axis, that's called yawing. You push it to the right and it will yaw to the right. Push it to the left and it will yaw to the left. And just bring that back up. Like I say, the wind is quite challenging here. It's a little devil for them, which is why I like it. If you want it to roll to the left, to the right, sorry, you go to the right like that, as you can see, and roll to the left, the other way, obviously, on there. To go forward, we simply pitch forward, and then to come backwards, you pitch backwards. And that's all there is to flying. That is basically it. You need no more skills than that. What we're going to show you here is I'm going to pitch forward, going to yaw to the left, roll to the left, and then ascend as well. So there's lots going on when you're flying. It's good fun. Okay, let's see how it holds there, because that's a nasty little position there. You can see it's really tilting over quite a bit there. You can see the trees behind it moving around. Let's just pop it up and bring it over my head, and then show you that we can point the camera downwards. So simply use this button here. Oops, I'm pressed. There we go. Let's start that video again. And then point it downwards. There we go. You can't miss out on these boots, can you? There we go. And then obviously you can take still shots as well. So let's just stop that video for a second and then just take a still. There we go. And we get a little, when it's processing, you get a little still image come up here that you can have a look at if you wanted to, but I want to carry on flying. Point the camera upwards, just push this left hand button, it keeps going up. It will go up high enough to get just the props in, so I'm just going to bring it down just to take those out, so it's not quite there. It's not a great day for videoing. It is quite dark and overcast. So. Okay, so you know how to fly. Let's just do a bit of a range test on the actual FPV. Now, I'm not great at flying a long distance, never was on the channel, as you probably all know, and if you're new to the channel, it's just not really my thing. I suggest if you're going to do range tests and things like that, that you actually do it into wind, and then you've always got power to bring you back, so which is always a good idea. We're still holding that. I can't actually see the distance there, but we will be able to on the actual sorry, on the screen, but I just can't see it because it's white out there. And we're still holding. That's still going some. There we go. Yeah. Okay, I don't know how far that is, but that looks far enough to me, and the FPV still working. I'm going to press this one here, hold it, it ascends, and then she's coming back. She's going home. Good idea. I wonder whether the FPV has locked up there. That is quite a range on that. Like I say, I can't quite see that there. Let me try and have a quick look. distance. Yeah, 200 meters, because the other side of the lock is 200 meters away. I know that for a fact. Now that hasn't come back on, so that could be my phone. It could just be, could be anything actually with these sort of things. But there we go. She's beeping that she's coming home. That's good. Oops. Oh, that's because the screen went off, wasn't it? Yep. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just go back into my actual Wi-Fi settings and I'm going to turn that back on again. It could be this phone. This is a new phone actually. Oh, no. There we go. Let's get that back on. There we go, we're back on. And it's just coming down nicely, look at that. So, I mean, some people want it to land back on the box. Anywhere near, if you know the channel at all, anywhere near is quite happy with me. Just give that a bit of throttle and that would just cancel it out, sort of thing. Well, actually did pretty good, didn't it? I thought the range was pretty good. I tend to only fly local, and it's only for setting up shots anyway. So that's flying with GPS. What I'm going to do is put it on optical flow, so we then get the solid lights on the back there, and you can see it's slightly changing. It's going to have a job picking out on the heather what position it wants to be in. I can tell it's on there as well, because if I put my hand underneath, the optical flow won't like it. As you can see, it's sort of going off. I'm touching nothing here. There you go, you can see it wobbling away. You wouldn't get that on a GPS, but it holds position really well. That's nice. When it doesn't hold position, when it won't hold position, if you go above about 30 feet, and actually while we're dull, I can actually see what the height is here now. There she goes, she's starting to wobble around, she's really starting to struggle. And then she'll get up to a point where she'll just drift. Well, it's doing pretty well actually. That's higher than normal. Yeah, the wind's, wow, look at the wind, it's taking it that way. If I pop the GPS on, there we go. Look at that, yeah, so holding, there's the difference between GPS and non-GPS. It will now move off when it's on the optical flow because of the height. That's good. Descent is slow. I don't think it's a very anxious flyer actually. We'll check the rates in a second. There we go, but actually descending slow gives you better video, that's for sure. There we go. Let's just do a quick pass, so I'm on full. Wow, that is not a fast flyer. Whoa, my life's gone into slow motion. Actually, it's a nice flyer though, even though it's not a fast flyer. It seems to go faster one way. There, look at it, it goes faster into wind than it does coming back towards me. Kind of weird. Okay, there's the speed adjustment. Oh, and it starts in high rates and it goes into low rates. So low rates is really low. But lovely for video. And actually, if you don't let go of the when you're pitching and rolling, it can actually stay quite nice and level. That's quite cool. Oh, can you feel the wind picking up quite a bit now? So that's low rates, that's high rates. Yeah, that's nice. That is good. And the FPV isn't bad. You could line up shots with it. Oh, we got a low battery warning. I've been playing around with it, but I'll put down the full length of flight times and everything that I get with it. Now, if I fly this away, this has got a return that it will come back to home when the battery's low if you're out of range. But it also, I think it also has a system that if we try and now hit return to home, let me just try that, which is this one here again. It won't do it because I think it's got to go about 30 meters or 100 meters. I think, I'm not sure what. You have to look it up in the settings before it would do a return to home because it knows it's pretty close to home. So I'm going to stop that video. I'm going to bring it in. Now we can land in two ways. We can press this button here and that will land it, or we can just bring it down to land it. So I'm going to press this button here. You have to press and hold, that's it, and then it comes in to land. I'm just going to catch it. Now, I don't recommend you do that if you're new to flying. Let me just turn that off because that beeping's got to go continually. There we go. I don't suggest you do that if you're brand new to flying. I suggest you fly in a better environment to do that in. But it's actually quite a good way of, if you're in an environment where you really want to fly and you haven't got a flat surface, it's a nice easy way of doing it. Also, you can take off that way as well. Okay, new battery. Let's have a bit more fun. I've moved away from where I was, probably, I don't know, 30-40 meters away over there, just to see about the return to home. So I'm going to kick both the sticks down and in, and I'm going to use the auto takeoff one, which is that one there. So simply press that and it takes off. And I can actually see the distance and everything a lot easier. So if I go over there, hey, look, see, that FPV is not bad. I wouldn't want tight through trees, but that's pretty good, I'd say. I'm going to press the return to home. There we go, she's coming home. She rotates round, actually, which is unusual. And I just want to see whether she goes back over there or whether she tries to come back here. That is definitely coming back to here. So she's coming home to here. There we go, you can see she's coming to my position here. And she'll do exactly the same thing. She'll come and descend. No, she's not going to go past, that's good. Always good. Oh, there. And then she turns back round in the orientation that we started with. That's interesting. Okay, so I'm just going to cancel that. So just give it a bit of throttle and that cancels it. Let's bring it down. And I'll show you, this also has headless mode on it as well. And then hopefully I'll have time to show you through the app as well. So just bring it down there. It's a nice gentle flyer. Like I say, nothing anxious about it, but nice and smooth. Look at the way she came off on the throttle there. That was lovely. So if you want it in headless mode, now before I showed you, this is forward, backwards, right and left and everything else. This stick stays the same. This stick with direction changes to whatever way we bound it will be straight away from us, is headless mode basically. So let me just show you that. So I'm going to press this in. You get a beep off the transmitter. Going to rotate round, and now if I press forward, it's whatever way I bound it, so it's that way. Sorry, I was slightly out of orientation there. So you can see, even though I'm pulling it backwards, it's coming back parallel to me. So I find it really mucks with my brain flying like this. It's not something I enjoy, but I'm just showing it to you. Some people like to do it if they're brand new to flying, think this is a better way of doing it. I personally, I don't, especially with FPV as well. You'd be really confused with it. So I can face it towards me, and then if I still go right, it will go right away from me. I'm going to turn that off now. That's better. I know it's in high rates. Doesn't seem to get a move on foot initially, and then it seems to get a little bit of a shift on. I wouldn't say it was a lot of a shift on. I still feel like I'm living in slow motion with this one. And that is in high rates. And that wind is, oh, look at the wind cut through there. It made no difference to it at all. That's really, oh yeah, the wind is quite strong. I'll let that run across the mic. I think both the mics have got suppressors on, so it won't make a noise. But yeah, that wind is actually quite strong. I feel it on me quite well here. Still holding position really well. So in here we can fly around ourselves. There's all sorts of things going on here. Let me just route here. So we're going to fly around a point and then go for that. There we go. That's it, trying to fly around. There we go. There we are. You can see, it was on the outside of the circle when I set it that time, and I think the other one sets it on the inside. Whee! Pretty good. So simply press that to cancel it. Okay, we've got a GPS follow me mode here, so I'm just simply going to press this one here, and then it's this one here. There we go, and it's turned around towards us. I'm hoping it's going to pick me up. Yep, I think that is moving away. Yeah, it's trying to keep me. Oof. There we go. Yeah, so I'm still, yeah, it's basically in the same position as it was. So if I belt along the path, me and running, not usually goes together very well. I'm not too sure this is follow a mountain bike, to be fair. But it's sort of doing what it can do for us. There we go. Yeah, it's sort of got it. Oh, actually, if I point the camera down, it might give it a better excuse. There we go. Yeah, now I'm centre, and it's following me. That's fine. There we go. And just where we got the video going and everything, I'm just going to quickly show you. If I press the stop, which is the emergency stop on the motors, it asks me to submit or not. Let's just bring that back in and then submit. Oh, it doesn't stop them. Oh, right, okay. Well, my worry about this stopping it and then stopping it doesn't actually work. So there you go. We live and learn every day. It's getting all kinds of anxious now. Actually, I wonder if I flew it away, whether or not it would find, whether it would start to come home. There we go. Oh, oh, look at that. It's got a geofence on it. It won't let me go any further. It's just stopped. So the only way it would do is come back home. If I was outside the geofence, it would actually head home. So it would just return to home, which is really good. Nice system. So just to show you that again, if I just try and belt away from me, there we go, it's going away. Whoa! And I've done nothing there, and it's just literally stopped. It's just stopped. As you can see, it's just fighting against the position. That's good. Going to run some footage that I took with it and had it when I was having to play around with it, as you'll see, so you can make up your mind whether you think the footage is good enough for whatever you want or not. It is just Wi-Fi back to your phone, so if you run out of signal or you fly it further than sort of 200 meters, as you saw, it sort of held up to 200 meters on the Wi-Fi, but then that was about it. The drone would fly a lot further than that, I'm sure, but you haven't got the Wi-Fi, so you're not actually going to see where it's going or what it's doing, and you can only do that by visual as well. And this thing, 200 meters away, is actually pushing it quite a bit on your eyesight, I think. So it's up to you. To me, the range, you know, as long as it flies around and the FPV works reasonably well, as you'll see, I fly through some trees and things, play around quite in close to things. It worked pretty well, but mind you, I have been flying for quite a long time. Having said that, I haven't flown since, I think it was November of last year, so I've been out doing other things, and there's a video, I'll put a link in description when I get it up. It won't go up as quick as this one, but I'm working on a video just to show you guys what I've been up to and where I've been and what I've been doing and everything, so hopefully you'll enjoy that when it comes out. I'm trying to get back into the reviews, so just see what you think. Encourage me if you would, please, because it's been a long break and it probably shows with the level of the stuff I'm doing and how I'm flying. But anyway, it's me and this is the way I run it. So transmitter, like I say, bugbear, nothing marked on it for where things are, but honestly you hardly use many of the controls anyway. I did up and down on the camera, and to be honest, in high rates it's not that fast. In low rates it's really nice and slow, and actually if you're new to flying, probably more than acceptable. And nice with the GPS and the optical flow, both of them worked really well, and it did hold position well. It's a good little drone, I think. I would have really preferred a micro SD card in it, which might be coming out on later models. That would have really done it actually, and then it would have been producing much better video, I feel, but perhaps that's on its way, sort of thing. The batteries took about 60 to 90 minutes to charge. I thought it was a couple of hours at the beginning, but it wasn't. I've charged them several times, run them through, and I was getting maximum of about 10 minutes. Now they quote 20 minutes, but hey, that's a manufacturer quoting, so do we believe those, or is that why we have people out there doing reviews? I guess I never got more than 10 minutes, I don't think, and that was it, sort of coming back home. It was getting to exhaustion level, sort of thing. I never actually had it fall out of the sky, I must admit. It always managed to come in, come back home, no problem at all, even when the battery was registering that it was quite low. The instructions were very good. I was impressed with that. Everything on it I think was pretty good. Could have just had a little tweak with a couple of things there. The app worked well, and I did fly it on the app actually. I had to play with that, but just on my own, sort of thing. To be honest, the transmitter's so good at flying, and it's so tiny to carry around. I don't know why you'd ever use the app to fly it, to be honest. The transmitter beats the app for flying, definitely. You do have your surround stuff, and you have all the other tricks and pieces that it does, but to be honest, for me, I just like flying. I just like being in control, using the FPV and doing it and immersing yourself in actually flying, because that's what I want to be in the hobby for. So that's just my take on it. If it's for you, all well and good. I hope you enjoy it. There's links down in descriptions for you. If it's not, maybe I'll be reviewing another one for you soon, so perhaps you'll enjoy that. So I do hope you've enjoyed that as much as I've enjoyed getting back on the sticks and actually flying, because it really is a super hobby and I've had a load of fun with it. Keep an eye out for the next review with TIGGER RC review welly boots on. I can't say I'll wear them every time, but hey, they are quite eye-catching. Take care, and I'll see you on the next one.